Well, hi, it's Andrew Bell here. Continue to enjoy the beautiful weather that we've been enjoying since before Christmas. Now, of course, we've just had the announcement of our federal budget, and everyone was looking towards the budget for many things, but in particular solutions to a number of our serious crises that exist at present, whether that's in the field of health, skilled labour shortages, aged care and the like. But none were greater than the housing crisis, where we see so many people displaced and seeing growing reports of people living in their cars, caravan parks, or at best having to move in with friends or relatives because there simply is an acute shortage of housing, whether it's for the rental market or affordable homes to buy. This problem is not unique to Australia, but we're looking to the budget for solutions. Now, we've got to remember that this budget was prepared in the knowledge that not only did we have an existing housing problem, but we're going to have one that is going to multiply in size in the years ahead, with the latest information showing that there's an estimated 1.5 million people going to migrate to Australia over the next 5 years. This is to meet the huge unskilled labour shortage, but also to fuel our economy. That is why action needs to be taken for both short-term solutions, which means somewhere in the next couple of months, plus the longer term. Now, this is for both people to rent or buy. Remember as well that at present we are seeing a decline in the volume of homes being built, which means that even keeping up with the current population size that we have, we're falling behind. So with so much of this news plastered all over our screens every night, and with governments stating their awareness of the problem, we would have hoped for some significant announcement in this federal budget. But disappointingly, and somewhat amazingly, it really fell a long way short of any significance. Yes, the Commonwealth Rent Assistance Program that was already available to Australians on pensions and benefits has seen an increase in an additional 15% amount of money paid to them. But this is only aiding those who are already on the rental assistance program. It's not about expanding it to provide more assistance to more people. This rental assistance grant is limited to pensioners predominantly, and programs such as JobSeeker and so on. The great majority of people receive no benefit from this program. Great to see at last some measures introduced to encourage the build to rent sector. But those are only modest adjustments and not enough to see a significant boost to build rental properties. It's a new sector and needs huge policy change to make it work here in Australia. It works so well in other countries around the world, and with the right tax policy, it can deliver significant amounts of housing somewhere over the next 3 years. A lot more should have been done to encourage this sector. It was also good to see a boost to the social affordable housing program. The program has already been in place for some years now, but there was a boost of some $2 billion, which should see around another 7,000 new social and affordable dwellings constructed over the next few years. A welcome move for perhaps 20-odd thousand people who would qualify, but really somewhat of a drop in the ocean from what's really needed. What was really missed was the crying need for both federal and state governments to incentivise firstly investors and secondly those who build affordable housing. We've got to remember that the supply of available rentals is down 18.3% year on year. As existing investors sell their investment properties for various reasons, we're not seeing the usual number of new investors entering the market and replacing them. So we're seeing a continual decline in the number of rental properties in the marketplace. We've also got to remember that over 90% of rental properties are owned by someone who just owns one property. Could be a fireman, a nurse, a public servant and the like. And there's been a lot happening that has made these people less confident about buying. Of course, rapidly rising interest rates have been a big turn-off, but so is the talk about rent freezes and the like. Why would anyone want to invest in a property when there's a threat of a rent freeze, yet no freeze on all the costs that are associated with owning a rental property, such as council and water rates, insurance premiums, interest rates and the like? If we really want to get more rental properties into the market, then we must incentivise this sector. And federal governments need to put tax incentives in place. State governments need to play a part and incentivise investors with reductions in stamp duty. And stop imposing ever-increasing impositions on their state tenancy legislations. It's a real turn-off for landlords. It's just the wrong time to be doing that. Now, for the medium and longer term, huge incentives need to be put in place for the build-to-rent sector, and we need a big surge in construction for the first home buyers field by incentivising major building companies and developers to build these products in the price brackets where the strongest demand is. Now, all of this was missed in the budget, and so we're now destined to continue to have a housing crisis, in fact a worsening housing crisis, as we move forward. Now, I'm pleased to see that the Real Estate Institute of Australia is coming to the Gold Coast later this month and bringing together so many of the experts in the housing market to start discussing policy recommendations for government, recognising the Gold Coast as one of the areas that has the greatest shortage of both properties to rent and properties to buy as a result of our surging migration from interstate. We trust that we'll be able to bring together some very clear recommendations that we hope that the federal and state government will adopt to get an immediate benefit so many of these distressed households who simply can't find a way forward to meet their urgent housing needs get some solutions. So from a perspective of budget targeting solutions for our current crisis, unfortunately, it came up a long way short. We respect the fact there are so many demands of government from so many different sectors of the community whenever a budget has been prepared. But it's hard to imagine any sector that's more important for a government to address than the housing of their population. So as a broad member of the Real Estate Institute of Australia, I look forward to working with my fellow directors to work on some very clear policies for government to get some real changes. Well, we're only weeks away until the winter season hits us, although it's when the Gold Coast shines once again. We're one of the best places in the country to live during the winter months. Pleased to see we've sold a property under the hammer at $10.8 million last week, setting a record as the highest price sale in the country for that week. Just demonstrates how strong the Gold Coast property market continues to be. Our success at auction at this stage is over 90%, which really is the sort of figures that you get during a real estate boom. Quite amazing. Really fascinating times at present. Well, sending my best wishes to the hundreds of thousands that receive this e-news, not only throughout Australia, but all over the world. It just reaffirms how many people from all corners of the earth continue to have a strong interest in the city of the Gold Coast. Best wishes for now.